Last week, the CEO of OpenAI stood in front of a room full of investors and said something that most workers have been feeling for 2 or 3 years now, but nobody has had the power to say it out loud. He admitted that AI was restructuring the balance between workers and employers, that jobs and labor and capital are shifting in ways that we haven't seen before.
Capitalism is also depended on this balance between somewhat of a power balance between labor and capital. But if it's hard in many of our current jobs to outwork a GPU, then that changes. And I'm not a long-term jobs doomer. I think we will figure out new things to do. But I think the next few years are going to be a painful adjustment as we get to this future we all get to redefine of what the new system and just this incredible prosperity looks like. And there are going to be some very intense and uncomfortable debates on the way there.
Then he said, nobody knows what to do with it. So the guy building the thing that's changing your industry just admitted he doesn't know what happens to the people on the other side of it. Now, this isn't a hot take or a conspiracy theory or some pie in the sky speculation. This is the person at the center of this thing, on stage and on record. So today I want to break down what this actually means for your career, and more importantly, what people who are navigating this well are doing differently. So the news itself isn't really what this is about. It's about what Sam Altman actually said. He said the cost of AI is dropping roughly 10 times a year, every year for 5 years running. So that thing that used to take a team of engineers a month to build 2 years ago, now is only taking hours and costs almost nothing. He talked about flooding the world with intelligence, and this was a phrase that he used, not thoughtful deployments. He used the term flood intentionally.
More and more, I think, of these jobs will be supervising a bunch of AI, providing oversight, deciding how to trust the outputs, how to provide guidance. And that threshold of when you really wouldn't want to be doing your job, running a large organization without heavy reliance on AI, I think that's another sort of interesting threshold. That may take a little bit longer, but probably not a lot longer.
And then he acknowledged that this is changing the relationship between workers and employers, and that nobody on the top has figured out what comes next. Now, I want to be clear here, though. This isn't about Sam Altman being a villain. But workers have been told for the better part of 3 years now that AI is just the tool, that the jobs that are going to be eliminated will be replaced with new ones. And here's the person driving it in public stating that the relationship between labor and capital is being restructured, and nobody knows what that looks like on the other side. To me, that's worth paying attention to, because what that tells you is if you're waiting for somebody at the top to figure this thing out and then communicate it down to you clearly, you're probably going to be waiting a long time. Now, here's the reality of what's happening in the job market right now. The jobs that are being impacted the fastest are the ones that are built around processing, taking information from one form and then producing it in another, summarizing, drafting, formatting, routing, reporting, even some coding. In other words, one person is now being expected to do the work that 3 used to do. And that's not coming. It's already here. And it's quietly made its way into legal, financial, marketing, HR, middle management, certainly into software development in the tech space. But what holds its value is the judgment, relationships, and accountability. Somebody has to own that outcome when things go wrong, which, if you've been paying attention to the news lately, that hasn't gone so well. And hopefully the executives at these corporations who are doing this will come to this realization sooner rather than later, but somebody has to have the conversation a model can't, because there's an inherent trust between people that still matters, and that's really hard to automate. So the people who come out of this period ahead are not the ones that worked harder on the old processes. They're the ones who understood early that the process itself has changed and is not going back to the old way. The candidates who are landing those top offers right now are not the ones who are submitting the most applications. They are the ones who are repositioning themselves for this new way of doing work. In other words, they're the ones who got really clear on the problem that they solve, not just the job title that's on their resume, but rather the one who built visibility before they needed it, the one who treated their career like a business they run and not just some employment arrangement they're part of. And this mindset shift is the whole game right now. And I've talked about the importance of becoming the CEO of your career. Consider yourself a business of one. Now, I've been a recruiter for 20 years. Amazon, FedEx, Korn Ferry, Ford. And I've been in the room where the hiring managers are making these decisions. And I want to give you an honest version of what is really working right now. First, you need to stop defining yourself by the job title and start defining yourself as the problem that you solve. And unfortunately, a lot of people struggle with this. You see, titles are company specific. Problems are universal. So, in other words, reframe yourself as I help companies reduce churn in enterprise accounts is something that is resonating today with the modern workplace. But saying that you're a senior customer success manager is really not. So, create and practice a 2 sentence version of yourself until it becomes automatic. Second, we want to build relationships before we need them. The best opportunities in this market are rarely going to the best resume on the pile. Sometimes, but not always. A lot of times they're going to the candidate that somebody on the inside has already had a conversation with. And that takes time to build. That's not something that's just automatic. You got to start it now, though, before you need it. And third, you have to understand that the resume still matters. In fact, it matters more than ever. But what doesn't work is a generic one that says the same thing to every employer. The candidates who are getting offers right now have built resumes around specific roles, specific companies, and specific problems that the employer is trying to solve. In other words, your generic resume isn't cutting it, and that's what most people are sending out. A tailored, targeted resume that speaks directly to one role at one company will always outperform a general resume that's been sent out to 30, 40, 50 other companies. And folks, this means more than just stuffing random keywords in and hoping to get a match on an ATS system. The math on this has always been true. But in this market, it's the difference between getting a call and getting ignored. So you have to take this seriously. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with this, and their solution is to throw a resume in ChatGPT and have it regurgitate some sort of a mismatch, a hodgepodge, if you will, of keywords that are loosely related to the job that they're applying to, and it doesn't really connect their background to it. That's actually why I've been building something on the back end, and I'm going to be sharing more about that soon. This is a platform that is designed by people who have sat on the hiring side of the table specifically to help job seekers with resumes that are targeted, authentic, and built for what the employer is actually looking for. This is not a template site. It's not a keyword stuffing tool, but something that builds your resume the right way. And I'm going to talk more about that very soon. Look, the uncertainty at the top, the fact that people are building this stuff that don't even know exactly what comes next, that's going to be with us for a while. But the uncertainty cuts both ways. The people who know how to navigate ambiguity, who have already repositioned themselves, who aren't waiting around for the market to feel familiar again, those people are going to be in better shape than they were before any of this started. And that starts with the understanding of what's actually happening. Not what the press release says, not what that video you saw on the internet says, and certainly not what HR or your senior leadership team told you guys in your town hall meetings. I'm talking about what's actually happening. Now, if you want a deeper look on how to reposition yourself in this market, I've got a free training that I've created that's in the description. It's about an hour and a half long, and it covers the fundamentals of how to run a search that actually works right now, really how to reclaim control in your career. So if you're struggling with this, you're not alone, but I've got your back here, and that's where I'd recommend starting. In the meantime, I'm going to be paying close attention to future developments. And as always, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.